One of the familiar faces of the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop, Richard Harrison, has died. Harrison, known on the show Pawn Stars as the Old Man, died this morning, according to his son Rick.
They brought history to life, turned everyday objects into treasures, and became part of one of the most iconic reality shows ever made. But behind the laughs, the deals, and the unforgettable negotiations on Pawn Stars, tragedy has struck more than once. From cast members to beloved recurring figures, several lives connected to the show have been lost. Some sudden, others after long struggles. Today, we're honoring 10 members of the Pawn Stars family who tragically passed away, and the legacies they left behind. When Pawn Stars premiered on the History Channel in 2009, it quickly became a cultural phenomenon. Viewers loved watching Rick Harrison, his father, the Old Man, Corey, and Chumley evaluate strange objects, haggle with customers, and share the rich history behind every item that came through their Las Vegas pawn shop doors. But as the years went on, tragedy became part of the story. Cast members, guest experts, and even familiar faces who frequented the shop have passed away, leaving fans shocked and saddened. Their losses serve as a reminder that even reality TV icons are human, and their lives are as fragile as anyone else's. Today, we'll look back at 10 Pawn Stars members we've lost, remembering their contributions to the show and celebrating the impact they made both on-screen and off. Richard the Old Man. Harrison. For many fans, Richard the Old Man Harrison was the heart of Pawn Stars. With his gruff humor, old-school wisdom, and no-nonsense approach to business, he quickly became a fan favorite. His sharp wit balanced perfectly against Rick's practical business style, Corey's ambition, and Chumley's comedic energy. Born in Virginia in 1941, Richard Harrison had a fascinating life long before reality TV. He served in the U.S. Navy for over 20 years, instilling in him the discipline and grit that would later define his role at the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop. When Pawn Stars launched in 2009, Richard was already in his late 60s, but his larger-than-life personality made him an instant star. Sadly, in June 2018, Richard Harrison passed away at the age of 77 after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. His death was not just a personal blow to his family, but also to millions of fans around the world who had come to see him as the grandfather figure of the show. Rick Harrison called him his hero, and tributes poured in from viewers who felt like they had lost a member of their own family. Richard's passing left a huge hole in the series, but his memory lives on in reruns, in the family he helped build, and in the countless lessons he left behind. Mark Hall Patton, the Beard of Knowledge. Among the many experts who appeared on Pawn Stars, few were as recognizable or beloved as Mark Hall Patton, affectionately nicknamed the Beard of Knowledge. With his long white beard, scholarly glasses, and calm but enthusiastic demeanor, Mark became a fan favorite whenever historical documents, maps, or rare artifacts came through the shop. Mark wasn't just a TV personality, he was a respected museum administrator in Clark County, Nevada. His expertise in history, especially with archival items, made him the go-to guy for verifying whether something was authentic or just a clever fake. Fans loved how he broke down complicated history in a way that was easy to understand, often adding fascinating context that made even a simple piece of paper feel like a treasure. Sadly, Mark Hall Patton passed away in early 2021 at the age of 65. News of his death shocked Pawn Stars viewers, as he had been such a familiar and comforting presence on the show for years. Colleagues remembered him not only as a walking encyclopedia, but also as a generous mentor and friend who inspired countless young historians. Rick Harrison once said that Mark's presence gave the show credibility. He wasn't there to entertain, but to educate. His passing left a noticeable void, reminding fans that Pawn Stars wasn't just about business and banter. It was also about learning and preserving history. Rolly Sabo, the beloved detailer from the extended Pawn Stars family. While Rolly Sabo was best known for his role on the spin-off Counting Cars alongside Danny the Count Coker, his connection to the Pawn Stars universe made him a familiar and beloved face to fans of both shows. With his thick Hungarian accent, booming laugh, and larger-than-life personality, Rolly quickly became a fan favorite. He wasn't just a detailer, he was the heart and comic relief of Danny's crew, adding warmth to every episode he appeared in. Fans loved watching him banter with Danny and the rest of the team, often teasing him about his meticulous approach to detailing cars. But behind the laughs, Rolly was admired for his loyalty and dedication to his craft. He took pride in every vehicle he touched, whether it was a vintage muscle car or a tricked-out hot rod. Tragically, Rolly Sabo passed away in 2019. His death was sudden and heartbreaking, leaving both fans and his colleagues stunned. Danny Coker and the Counting Cars crew paid tribute to him, remembering Rolly not only as a co-worker, but as family. His absence was deeply felt, and many viewers expressed that the show never felt quite the same without him. For fans of Pawn Stars, Rolly's passing was a reminder of how interconnected the Las Vegas car and pawn shop reality TV family had become. Though he worked primarily with Danny, his larger presence in the Pawn Stars world ensured that his legacy reached across both shows. Bob Yuhas, the antique appraiser fans love to see. Among the many experts who walked through the doors of the gold and silver pawn shop, Bob Yuhas stood out for his approachable charm and deep knowledge of antiques. Specializing in vintage toys, collectibles, and historical oddities, Bob had an infectious enthusiasm that made every item he examined feel like a window into the past. Fans loved his appearances because he wasn't just about the cold, hard value of an item. He conveyed its story. When Bob entered the shop, he often came with a smile and a knack for breaking down the background of an object in a way that felt exciting, even to viewers who had no knowledge of the antique world. His insights were invaluable to Rick and Corey, helping them determine whether to take a gamble or walk away from a deal. Tragically, Bob Yuhas passed away in 2020 after a battle with illness. His death shocked those who knew him personally and saddened fans who had grown used to his warm presence on the show. Tributes remembered him not only as a skilled appraiser, but also as a kind soul who treated every interaction with respect. His loss highlighted just how important the experts were to Pawn Stars. While the core cast provided the entertainment, it was experts like Bob who gave the show authenticity. His passing left a hole in the rotating roster of specialists who made the series both fun and educational. Jesse Amoroso, the music expert who brought guitars to life. One of the most exciting parts of Pawn Stars was when rare and legendary musical instruments came through the shop doors. For those moments, Rick and the team often called on Jesse Amoroso, the music expert with a deep passion for guitars and rock history. Jesse wasn't just knowledgeable, he was a storyteller, bringing the history of every guitar, amplifier, or piece of music memorabilia to life in a way that resonated with fans. As the owner of Cowtown Guitars in Las Vegas, Jesse had spent years curating one of the finest collections of vintage instruments in the region. When he appeared on Pawn Stars, viewers were treated to his enthusiasm and his ability to instantly spot whether an item was authentic or not. Whether it was a Fender once played on stage or a Gibson with a legendary backstory, Jesse's expertise gave the show credibility in the world of music collectibles. Tragically, Jesse Amoroso passed away in 2021. His death was unexpected and left a deep hole in the Las Vegas music community, where he had long been a supporter of local musicians and collectors alike. Fans of Pawn Stars mourned as well, remembering the way his passion lit up the screen every time he appeared. Jesse's passing was particularly heartbreaking because he was still relatively young and full of energy. His legacy lives on through Cowtown guitars and the countless musicians and collectors he influenced over the years. For fans of Pawn Stars, his absence is felt every time a guitar or instrument crosses the counter. Moments that used to be punctuated by his unique knowledge and excitement. Rebecca Romney's mentor, a literary loss. When rare books came into the shop, fans knew it was time to call Rebecca Romney, the book specialist whose calm, thoughtful explanations turned fragile pages into stories of history. She became a breakout favorite because of her deep knowledge of literature and her ability to make even the oldest manuscripts feel relevant to modern viewers. But behind Rebecca's own rise as a respected appraiser and rare book dealer stood her mentor, a figure well known in the rare book community who tragically passed away. While his appearances on Pawn Stars were limited, his influence was deeply connected to Rebecca's presence on the show. Her mentor had spent decades preserving rare works and mentoring younger specialists like Rebecca, teaching them the importance of authenticity and historical context. When he died unexpectedly, it wasn't just a loss to her personally. It was a loss to the entire literary preservation community. Though his name may not have been as widely recognized by casual fans, his contributions shaped the knowledge that Rebecca brought to every episode. For viewers, this loss was a reminder of how much unseen expertise supports the familiar faces we watch on screen. Behind every confident evaluation or carefully explained historical reference, there's a chain of teachers and mentors who pass on their wisdom. While Rebecca carried on his legacy, the void left by his passing was deeply felt by those who knew him. His influence continues through her work, and his presence lingers in every book she ever touched while on Pawn Stars. Russell Aaron, a familiar face gone too soon. One of the charms of Pawn Stars has always been its revolving door of quirky, memorable customers. Some appeared just once, bringing in a strange object with an even stranger backstory, while others became semi-regulars, returning with new items and becoming part of the extended Pawn Stars family. Russell Aaron was one of those familiar faces. Known for his good humor and his frequent visits to the gold and silver pawn shop, Russell developed a small but loyal fan following among viewers who loved his personality and his knack for bringing in unusual items. He wasn't a cast member or an expert, but he represented the everyday side of the show. The real people whose lives intersected with history and collectibles. Sadly, Russell passed away unexpectedly in his early 50s. His death left fans saddened, especially those who had grown used to seeing him on screen from time to time. For the shop, losing Russell wasn't just losing a customer. It was losing part of the extended family that made the show feel authentic and grounded in real life. Rick and Corey spoke warmly of him after his passing, reminding fans that behind every transaction was a person with a story. Russell's story, though cut short, became part of the greater tapestry of Pawn Stars. His death was a reminder that while the show may be about artifacts and objects, its true value comes from the people who walk through those doors. People like Russell, whose humanity touched the audience in ways no item ever could. Olivia Black's friend. Gone too soon. Olivia Black became a standout personality during her time on Pawn Stars. Bold, funny, and outspoken, she quickly built her own fan base. But behind the scenes, Olivia faced personal heartbreak when a close friend from the Las Vegas alternative community passed away unexpectedly. Though this wasn't part of the show itself, Olivia shared her grief openly, and fans supported her during that difficult time. For many, it humanized her beyond the screen, reminding viewers that even reality stars carry deep personal struggles. the loss of Richard Benjamin Harrison Jr. Most fans know the old man Richard Harrison, but what fewer realized was that Rick's brother, Richard Benjamin Harrison Jr., also passed away. Though not on the show, his death deeply affected the Harrison family. Rick has spoken in interviews about how family loss shapes perspective. And for fans, it was a glimpse into how grief extends beyond the shop's walls. It was another reminder that the Harrison family's story has always been about more than just business. It's about resilience in the face of loss. Remembering the unsung experts. Over the years, Pawn Stars brought in dozens of experts, from coin appraisers to arms specialists. Some, sadly, have since passed away quietly without the same public recognition. While their names may not be as well known as Mark Hall Patton or Jesse Amoroso, their contributions helped give the show its credibility. Without them, Pawn Stars wouldn't have been the blend of education and entertainment fans came to love. Honoring their memory is just as important as remembering the main cast. Pawn Stars has always been about more than money and objects. Behind every deal, every laugh, and every negotiation were real people with real lives, and sometimes heartbreaking endings. From Richard the Old Man, Harrison, to experts like Mark Hall Patton and Jesse Amoroso, to beloved figures like Rolly Sabo and Russell Aaron, each passing left a void not only in the show, but in the hearts of fans. Their stories remind us why the series resonated so deeply. It wasn't just about history or collectibles, it was about people. Every expert brought passion, every customer brought a story, and every loss left an impact. Though these 10 beloved figures are gone, their legacies live on every time someone tunes in to an old episode, or every time a fan walks into the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas hoping to catch a glimpse of TV history. So, which of these losses touched you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from the world of reality TV, because sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't the objects we buy or sell. They're the people who leave a mark on our lives.